July 9th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 3. Shoot, we're not even prepping, we're just in the courtroom. Here we go.
Court is now in session for... How do I say that?
Machi Tobai, Your Honor. The pixie of the Arpeggio.
Right, his trial. His trial. Court is in session. I can't be bothered to learn his name. It's him. That's all I know.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are we ready, though? I don't feel very ready. The prosecution is A-OK, Judge.
Very well. Prosecutor Gavin.
My opening statement, yeah?
No, actually. There was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Yes?
Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down.
What are you talking about? Seriously, what is going on right now?
Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son.
Wait. What? The Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems.
Okay.
So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for?
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Dude, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Fucking real professional, Judge. Real professional. Chief Justice? Hey, that's my big brother. Is it his big brother? I don't know. Anyway.
Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
You're in luck, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. Huh? First, to review the victim in this case. Romaine Latouze, age 35. The global manager for diva songstress LAMIROIR. The cause of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Okay, autopsy. Death due to loss of blood from a gunshot wound. That about 9:30. Got it.
45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
Indeed. Oh, Chief Justice. Apollo's big brother. Because he's Apollo Justice. There you go. You right. That was a joke. My bad. I didn't get that at first, but you right. Flew right over my head. I was busy thinking about how it might be the judge's big brother. Anyway. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
Okay. Victim shot in the shoulder. Didn't die from the gunshot itself, but the bleeding from said gunshot. Noted. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. Okay, so we got a diagram. Got it. This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this evidence.
Okay, got a diagram. Cool. If Apollo became a judge, would he be Justice? It's a solid question, Berserker. I don't know. Chief Justice. Anyway.
If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body.
The defense will take more care in choosing examples.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes?
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible.
Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person.
One person?
That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobai.
Only this defendant could have committed the crime. But how?
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime seen make it clear.
Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Please show the witness to the stand.
Oh, we got Emma. All right. I mean, she was one of the witnesses of... me and her were the witnesses of when it happened. And we did always start with Gumshoe in most cases in the original games, so that does make sense to bring her up. All right.
Your name and profession, please.
Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow.
Security at the concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
Bigger than murder? Or missing a murder? Maybe you actually murdered somebody? I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. Same.
In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please.
All right. Here we go.
Witness testimony. Murderous circumstances.
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. We'll see about that. There may have been a magician afoot to do some magic. Let's just remember that that's something that's possible. But anyway,
It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? They're going to say he was the only one small enough to escape the room via the vent or that small-ass window or something like that, right? That's what they're going to go with here. Looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Time to start pressing on this shit. Emma, I need details, girl. Because I don't think we're going to have to get any of her tells. We just have to figure out the truth based on what she said and kind of work from there. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? Fuck me. Had to yawn again, goddammit. That energy level's still working up from the morning, you know? That's right. What was a detective doing on security detail, might I ask, if it was only a concert? My thoughts exactly, but orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall.
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, that whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case.
There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them?
Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
I thought the same thing, bro. But he was on stage playing at the time, we know.
Love, slow acting and new. Antroquinine is waiting for you.
Antroquinine? I don't know what that word is. Or atroquinine. Atroquinine? Atroquinine. I don't know. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? Yes. Yes, it does.
The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean time on their hands?
Please, the testimony.
He means you're lazy and you weren't doing anything else. At least that's what he's implying. Over here wasting your day away eating fucking snacks. Alright, anyway. Only people involved with the concert were allowed backstage. Alright. Wait. If you ever feel useless, remember Emma Sky's ponytail. She still leaves hair on her back and on her face. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, why have a ponytail if you're going to have all this hair in your face still, right? I gotcha. Alright, let's press. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you.
I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again.
Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then. And then what? I guess face was poor wording because she doesn't have a beard. I know what you meant, though. It's in front of her face instead of pulled back into a ponytail, because what's the point of the ponytail? But some people like to have some of their hair still hanging down. It just won't get in her eyes or, like, hanging down. I don't know. The longer hairs are in the pony, I assume. But anyway, at the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. Ponytails are basically a reverse beard. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Okay, bitch.
Hey, no snacking in court. And you're sure the shots came from LAMIROIR's room?
Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet.
Talk.
Hey, thanks. So,
how about it, Emma?
We were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat.
Oh, sorry, this is the judge.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. Went in the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you preferring, perhaps, to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right. We went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud?
You don't listen to the Gaviners with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume.
When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself.
Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. I know, I was thinking the same thing about these days. Isn't it supposed to be like 2026 in this game or something? I don't know. What is the year supposed to be in this game? Sorry, I just bumped the shit out of my mic. That is a weird thing to say, but rock and roll music's been around since, I don't know, the fucking 50s? Something like that? The 60s? Somewhere around, like, what's considered rock and roll? Somewhere around there? Anyway, examine the scene and determine that only the defendant could have done it. Now here's where I need to know why you think this. Press on it. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from that room. That door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
But
the air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child.
A child?
Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed.
And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant. The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
But that's just conjecture.
Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know, Air Forehead.
And there is another vital piece of evidence.
Evidence?
What? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened.
Wait, what?
And something else we found quite clearly. The defendant, Machito Bai's fingerprints.
What? What? Order! 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 That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Air Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one can pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie.
Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that.
Wait, what?
The prosecution is a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough.
This seems a little garbage to just straight up be like, oh, he did it then. There's nobody else that could have done it. Alright, well, case closed. He can't speak English anyway, so whatever. He can't defend himself. Fuck it. Anyway. It can't be over already.
Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence... The prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain.
Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick.
I know.
Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, do you have a contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it. So soon? If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Yeah, the case against Machi isn't the greatest for a number of reasons. Yeah, for a number of reasons indeed. I'd like to call a witness, please. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there was no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure?
Absolutely. I swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit, Atroquinine, my love.
There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness, bitch.
Ho-ho, really now? But how did you come to possess the knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this! Bitch. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness. You're cold.
Oh, you're cold? Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Help's on the way.
See.
Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness?
The witness is... What? The victim said this before he died? Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not.
What do you mean by that?
All we know is that Air Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
Yeah, but I was there, bitch. But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely, bitch.
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for.
There's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
I mean, I want to bring out what's-her-face. This is who I want to bring in. So here we go. Bitch.
LAMIROIR.
Recall Mr. Latouse's last words.
The witness is siren. Blah, blah, blah. Rumble, rumble. The siren. Aha! She meant the siren with a capital S. I see.
That's right. The siren of the ballad, LAMIROIR. LAMIROIR was only on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? My claim still stands. There were no witnesses to this crime. Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show LAMIROIR to the witness stand.
LAMIROIR would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. It's like Prosecutor Gavin knows she knows something. He talked to her already. But everything that she said either was bad to his case or he decided to ignore it on purpose to help his own case. But why does he want to pin it on this kid so bad? I don't understand. Seems like a douche move. Anyway,
it is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom.
You are too kind.
You can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it.
That seems very sus right there. Just saying that bullshit. Lies. Lies. Lacking additional information, it seems like the only solution. What? To just ignore what she said? But here's the thing. It's like, I know he's the prosecutor and he wants to win cases or whatever, but he just doesn't strike me as the type of guy that wants to win all his cases just for the sake of winning. He's not like Edgeworth, or he's just like, I'm here to win and that's all I'm here to do. He's like, he seems like he comes in with intention. Like, I feel like he also wants to solve this case because his whole day was shitty. So he also wants to get to the bottom of this. So the fact that he's being very mum on trying to win the case quickly is so weird. Like, he wants to pin it all on the kid? Does he have more details than just that? Like, it's so weird to me that he wants to close this so fast. On his end, you think he'd want to know more. But whatever. It's fine. What does she mean she doesn't know?
I, too, thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
LAMIROIR suffers from amnesia.
Convenient. Very convenient.
Amnesia?
LAMIROIR is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As a lauded singer, LAMIROIR, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
Lies, bro.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, LAMIROIR.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
LAMIROIR, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify, yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Oh my.
Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy. Ugh. I mean, defense attorneys usually are the bad guy in most real-world trials because the defendant they usually have to defend somebody who probably did it. Now, is that always the case? No, obviously there's probably more cases where the person didn't actually do it and still gets in trouble for it, but they tend to have to defend bad people, defendant lawyers. So, in general, prosecutors usually are the good guys in that way, that they're prosecuting against somebody who did something bad. The defendant... That's what's funny about this whole series, if you think about it. The defense attorneys usually are the, like, quote-unquote bad guy in most senses because they're defending somebody who probably did it, or at least, you know, allegedly did it. They have to try to do something. That's just what they're... They have to give the criminal a fair defense. But that's, I guess that's the point in this game. It's like we're defending people who are supposedly innocent. That's the point. Yeah, it's like... It feels like a big high percentage of the time they're defending somebody who is a bad guy, or at least definitely did it, and just trying to get away with it to some degree, or a lesser sentence to some degree. Phoenix only defends the innocent, which is probably why he's always so damn broke. Yeah, exactly. If you defend only innocent people, you're not going to make any money. But anyway, let's hear this testimony, damn it.
If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
Okay. Let's see what happens with this testimony, shall we? What I saw.
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
Where was she at then? If she wasn't backstage, where was she? That's details I need to know.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
Hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying?
There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be.
Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go!
Ugh.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
LAMIROIR wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. Alright, well, here we go. Time to start pressing and figuring out some stuff. Saw nothing. Okay, I'm gonna. You know what I should also be looking for? Tells. Although it's not gonna really help me looking for tells if I can't actually zoom in on them. So anyway, start with that. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche, how can I tell you what I don't know?
LAMIROIR, he said you were a witness with his dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say, but that night...
That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. It was a great concert.
You heard me sing. Thank you.
I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually.
Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You are out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice.
Wow. You're out of line. Only I can ask for autographs in my courtroom. Dick.
And Judge. What? What's this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy.
Apparently his grandson's a big fan.
Let us continue, shall we? If you would, LAMIROIR. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
Wow. That was fucking silly. She did not return backstage. Okay, here's where I have questions. Then what the hell were you doing? You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at the time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi for Machi. Okay. She was cleaning? How could she be cleaning when the show is going on? Anyway, whatever. With Machi, correct? How was he then?
He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion.
Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far.
We sat there, waiting.
Okay. That was where you learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latouche died.
Of course, investigation requires some security.
But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand.
Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine LAMIROIR lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Okay. So the only part of her testimony where she turns her head is this one. But this one, I don't know. I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's room. She wasn't led by the police. Didn't Mr. Gavin just tell her to go? That's one I question. But do I have anything that can present on this? Probably not. Loss of blood, victim shot, crime scene for LAMIROIR's dressing room. I mean, I'm just trying to remember how it went down. I don't know if this is the one I have to press on or whatever, but I don't know. Let me look at all these again. She saw nothing. I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. Oh, maybe the fact that we found her jewel in the room, her brooch. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe we should point out the brooch because he did not return backstage. Is it too early to just say, we found your brooch, though? Found at the crime scene. Let's just go with that. That's the best thing I have off the top of my head, anyways. Objection! Am I right? I'm sorry, LAMIROIR, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's LAMIROIR's. She was wearing it for her song. Okay, so she was wearing it for the song. Okay, confirmed. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime, motherfucker. What? LAMIROIR, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And, as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. That's right, bitch. Hell yeah.
What is the meaning of this, LAMIROIR? Please explain.
LAMIROIR? Oh. Wing ding, wing ding. Wow. She says English is quite difficult. Wait, did you actually understand what she said? That trick's not gonna work here, bitch. Don't do this. Don't do this wing ding, me no speak English. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? Wing ding, wing ding. In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Stop wing-dinging me. Speak English. Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call backup. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Go so cold.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help's on the way.
The witness is siren.
Siren? How could a siren witness anything? Yipes, Emma, what was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard a door close. Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I definitely remember that moment, and I was thinking in that moment that maybe the killer was hiding in the room and snuck out behind, like in between when they had a moment, basically. That's what I was thinking already. I actually already had that thought when it happened, but I didn't really overthink it at the moment. But now it's starting to feel like that makes sense. They were hiding in the room and they snuck out. Hence why the jewel was on the ground near the door, right? But anyway,
Just a glance, mind you.
So this was when your brooch dropped. That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
but that's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch?
Forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
Ugh.
I closed the door immediately.
Uh-huh.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. LAMIROIR, you did look into the room. You did look into the room, though, right?
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Yeah, we need amended testimony, bitch. You went there just for a moment. Alright, well, let's press on this one. What did you see in that brief glimpse?
I had only opened the door slightly when I heard the horrible voice.
And shut the door. I have always wondered, Forehead. Does that voice of yours lack a volume knob?
It's my cords of steel, man. Just back off. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latusa's dead body was behind a wall. Okay. Just that statement is contradictory. A wall? Was there a wall there?
Wingding is what in English?
A division or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves.
And the murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body.
Then I was led by the police to...
Okay, so... This is when I can start perceiving something. I think the perception is going to be on this one. It's going to be on this one. Let's take a look, shall we? I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latusa's body was behind a wall. Okay, nothing on her face. Watching her mouth. Oh. Oh. Her neck throbbed, y'all. She might have been swallowing hard. Dun dun dun. Hear it again. There it is. That's absolutely it right there. That's it, y'all. It's got to be it. I don't even need to look at anything else. Her hands are so far down, I don't even think it matters. I'm going with it. Gotcha! Gotcha, bitch! We'll see about that. The late Mr. Latusa's body, you say?
Yes.
You know something more about Mr. Latusa's death than you're saying.
What?
I can see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow, bitch! You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was so terrible, after all. Why did Mr. Latusa have to be shot?
One moment, LAMIROIR.
Yes?
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot?
Yes?
She was hiding something? I knew it. LAMIROIR, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony, bitch.
How could that be?
Take this! LAMIROIR contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. What do you mean? The fact that she knew it was a gun? The fact that there was a wall in the way? How could she have seen the gun? It's probably this, because how could she have seen over there, right?
If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradict, Mr. Justice.
Huh?
Your evidence is meaningless.
Ah, shit. So it's not the wall? What did she say again? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? That's right. That totally contradicts her testimony. Why did he have to be shot? Do I just have to put the gun? Maybe it's the gun itself? No. It's not the gun? What the fuck am I not thinking about then? What the f... She contradicts her own testimony? Which part? It's also pretty obvious that she was hiding behind this big pile of furniture and shit while we went in and checked the body, and then she just snuck out. But anyway, it's like, how did she know he was shot? Do I have to put the crime photo? I don't understand what the fuck they want from me here. This? No. What the fuck, man? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? This doesn't make sense to me, man. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm gonna run out of fucking things. Why did he have to be shot? This one? Like, because she wasn't supposed to know about the case? Oh my god, I'm so annoyed right now. The only other two things that make sense to me is either the autopsy report, because that proves that when it talks about the shot thing, or something about her not. This feels like something maybe she wasn't supposed to know, basically. I mean, that's the thing that I was thinking, that she wasn't supposed to know, but either because she couldn't see or because she wasn't supposed to know about it. And this is the only thing I can think of, is something she wasn't supposed to know. Anyway, this feels like dumb, is what it feels like. Let's just try this. This is the dumbest shit. I would have never even thought to present this ever, let alone for this moment. But Jesus Christ. It feels like more than one of these things should have worked. But okay, fine. Present the fucking piece of paper that says that... We'll let it explain itself, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, fine, sure. Anyway, tell me, LAMIROIR, how'd you know he had been shot?
Well,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, No one told me anything about the incident. Okay. Yes, she did say that. And she wasn't supposed to know. And I get that. But, like, still, it still felt weird that that's the evidence I present there. But it's fine. Whatever. It works. It works. It's just it's still weird that that's the piece that works here. But there's multiple reasons why she shouldn't have known. It feels like more than one piece of evidence made sense in this case why she wouldn't have known. But they always want you to get to where they want you to go. They don't want you to get there in any other way. This is where they wanted you to go with this line of questioning. So what am I supposed to do about that other than pick the right piece of evidence? So anyway, furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yeah, see, that's the part where, of course, she could see nothing. If she said she looked through the door and couldn't see, then how could she have seen any of it? Like that he got shot, or that there was a gun, or any of that shit. You know, that also makes sense to me. But sure, okay. Piece of paper. It's like, I get that this works too. I'm just saying, it's not the only reason why we would have this thought. But anyway, yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot! How could you have known? You bitch, how did you know things? York! She said York. Ooh. Took a shot to the heart, and you got slapped with some truth bombs, baby.
LAMIROIR, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Ah, now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth.
She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so. God damn it. But without the gag order, someone could have just told her he was shot and the scene, etc. wouldn't matter. No, I understand why that's the answer, DJ. But I'm just saying, the reason why she wouldn't have been able to see that he was shot, and the fact that she knew he was shot, had multiple reasons why she could have known versus why she could have known. Because here's my thought process on that. Why I thought it could have been the gun or the body or how the room's layout is so she wouldn't be able to see the body, right? The thought is that she said she could tell that he was shot. How did she know that? Well, either somebody A told her or she saw it. But to say she saw it only looking through the door had to be a lie also, right? Because she couldn't have seen it through the door because of the wall in the way. So it still makes the same sense in my head based on the evidence we had. But that's fine. They want me to get there the way they want me to get there. That's how these games always are. I'm not really that mad about it. I'm a little annoyed because there's only one way to get there sometimes. But you got to think like the game thinks if you want to go the right answer. So what exactly happens when you run out of chances on a case? You get a guilty verdict, and then you just have to restart from some checkpoint, usually. It's not a big deal, but we'll have to skip through a bunch of dialogue. But anyway, alright. So you saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Okay, so she says that she saw the bullet holes. That's how she knew. Okay. That's how she knew. Interesting. Okay. Let's hear more details about that then. Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes.
Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know.
You've traveled the world as a...
You've traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country.
I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days.
That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like LAMIROIR someday.
I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know.
Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour, too. Oh, should you? Okay. So, okay. I saw bullet holes in the wall. This is her new piece of testimony. I feel like this is where we have to contradict something. That is where I learned what had happened, but I wasn't told the details. Okay. You saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Okay. Is there anything we can use to contradict that she saw bullet holes in the wall? Yeah. They were behind the door. How she would take a peek and see them, I don't know. Let's go with that. I've gone on worse guesses than that. Let's not overthink it here. LAMIROIR, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo.
Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, ya.
Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram, bitch. LAMIROIR, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall the door is on.
Eh?
You see? Assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes, bitch. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's fucking right, bitch.
LAMIROIR.
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw?
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Bulgaria.
Yeah, they're being recorded by me, the Funky G, bitch.
You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, LAMIROIR. LAMIROIR.
Very well. LAMIROIR, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall.
Alright, what the hell did you see that you didn't tell us already? God damn it. I'll say this is a particularly interesting case to watch, knowing things. Well, we'll see what happens then. What I Saw, Part 2. Here we go.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a window there. That's how I saw it.
Okay, see, this I can believe, and this is why I believed she was the witness. But also, her brooch was in the room, so I still think she was in the room and she dipped out. I still think that was the case. Does that mean she did it, though? I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway.
There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
Okay. So she has So she has... What? Why? Okay. So Mr. Gavin doesn't want us to hear from her because it goes against his case against the kid. But she's basically saying it wasn't the kid. Flat out. She just fucking said it. So now we have contradicting, like, who did it. So now we're just really going to have to investigate this more. Not that we didn't think we were going to have to, but obviously we're going to have to. I think the big kicker in this case is going to be there's another way to escape that room. And that is going to be where the big break in the case is going to happen. And I think that's what we need to discover. There's got to be another way to that room that we don't know about yet. We don't know that she actually opened up to Gavin. That's true. He might be surprised by what we just heard as well. We're going to find out right now. Here we go.
So you did witness the crime. And the killer was a grown person, you say?
Ah, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Air Forehead. Why the fuck didn't you want to know that? Or maybe she didn't want to tell him that either?
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about LAMIROIR. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. Fishy, fishy. Alright. Well, let's start pressing some more shit, shall we? Alright, so you were heading toward the dressing room.
Yes.
So this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots.
I was on my way back.
Little window that she looked through, eh? What exactly is something like a little window?
Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes?
You need not worry, LAMIROIR. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail.
That little window on the wall?
I saw the creme from there.
There were 2 shots. Couldn't do anything to stop it. Alright, press. You're certain you heard 2 shots fired?
Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer.
And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradictions so far.
It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do.
Okay. But it wasn't Machi, and that is the big kicker right there. It wasn't Machi who shot? Are you sure?
Yes, quite certain.
It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object?
Yeah, Apollo, what were you thinking? Trucy, let's just listen to what LAMIROIR has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure?
Yes, of course, you see.
It's okay to press everything. I'm not objecting to anything. Grown person. Okay. A grown person? That's a little vague.
I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
Wait, what?
It was a man, a young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear.
Voice?
Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room is quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony?
I mean, there's something wrong here still. I'm just trying to think like what I'm overlooking here. Because if she says it's a man and she heard his voice, that's the problem I'm having. How did you hear anything with that loud-ass music playing? I wouldn't have been able to hear shit. So, do you have superhuman hearing on top of your dope-ass voice? I'm going to go with contradictory for that sake alone. If I have to present evidence, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to present on that. But that's the only thing I can think of. Is it was too damn loud to be able to hear anybody talking. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about LAMIROIR's testimony that rings false.
Bravo, Air Forehead. You're colder than I thought.
I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. Oh, we're still going to talk about the escape reasoning? Okay, well, that's fine. I wasn't worried about the escape part of it, but yes, that is also a problem that we still need to discover as well. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means LAMIROIR has to be lying. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting.
It is as Air Forehead says, yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony.
Yup. The music thing too, man. I'm telling you, the loud music, for sure. What next? What's he talking about?
LAMIROIR, I understand why you would want to protect Machi, yet remember you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that?
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
The state of the room? Yeah, it was loud as shit.
Yes, and when the murder took place, that window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it.
What? But I'm sure.
LAMIROIR, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense.
So we're worried about the window being closed. Okay, sure. That's what we're worried about. Alright.
But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
So you say, and the victim named her, the siren, as the witness?
That's right. That's what Mr. Latou's...
We heard your claim, we even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Judge. Yes? The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if LAMIROIR can't testify,
then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danke. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I would like to hear from Frau Rain Detective again.
Wait, let me hear LAMIROIR's testimony one last time.
But the cross-examination is already over, until such a time as a need arises. This witness may leave the stand.
I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance.
That's pretty fucked up, bro. But okay. Now what?